What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. And today I'm collabing again with the Daily Sports Show. He's here with me on a Discord call. So please introduce yourself once again.
Hey guys, this is Daily Sports Show, and we're doing another collab with Pac-12 Shorts. We did one a few weeks ago, and today we're going to be doing our way too early preseason top 25 college football rankings.
Yes, that's right. Just hold on a second. I'm going to read the chat to see who is here. Thank you, Ethan, the Sports Kid, for coming. So let me see if anyone else is here. But if not, we're going to start with the show. So for our preseason rankings, we came up with these a couple of days ago, as with for our teams. And for to start, I'm going to be starting, by the way. So for to start, I have Clemson at number one. We're alternating turns for the list. So we have Clemson at number one. This team is still pretty good, despite losing Trevor Lawrence and some of their seniors. So like Clemson is essentially one of the best teams in college football, regardless of what they've lost. I think DJ Ucla is going to be able to carry the torch of the team. I think they're going to be able to carry the torch for the quarterback position. I think he's going to do well there. He has a tough test versus Georgia, which could potentially decide what is going to happen for Clemson football next year. But I think he will be all right, especially since he did well versus Notre Dame last year and Boston College. So I think he should be fine.
Yeah, I agree with that. At number 2, we've Oklahoma. That might be a little bit surprising that they're ahead of Alabama and some teams like that. But Spencer Rattler's returning, and they have so much returning talent. Despite losing their receiver, Charleston Rambo, I think is his name, to the transfer portal, they're going to have so much returning talent. And by the end of the year, they were one of the best teams in college football. So I think they're going to be really good next year and win the Big 12 again.
I think that as well. Spencer Rattler could potentially be a Heisman candidate since he has done amazing. And at number 3, we have Alabama, who is like one of the most dominant teams in college football this century. That they have been amazing under Nick Saban, who is coming back another year. It was coming back for at least another year to carry Alabama to the top, and I think Bryce Young will do good. I think he should do good. Bama's still Bama, despite they always lose a lot, and they are always able to compete for the title. So I think Alabama should be able to be fine with Bryce Young and the rest of that new offense, and they'll be enough to finish third place in the series, third place in the rankings. Sorry.
I agree. At number 4, we have another SEC team. We have Georgia, who at the end of the year was looking really good and looking better than Florida. James Cook was a good running back this year, and JT Daniels, he played 5 games for them as quarterback. But they'll be crazy if they don't start him next year because he did so good in the games that he started. So JT Daniels in the offense should be good next year too, with receiver George Pickens returning. So I think Georgia's going to be really good, and their defense is just always amazing. So Georgia's going to be a top 4 team in our opinion.
Yeah, same. For number 5, I chose Ohio State because they're also one of the best teams in the nation, and even though they're going to be losing Justin Fields, they should be good. C.J. Stroud was one of the best recruits in the nation when Ohio State got him to commit. So I think he should be fine with being Ohio State's new quarterback, and I think they'll still be fine with the running game. Chris Olave is returning, so that is helpful for Ohio State. So they should be fine, in my opinion, and looking forward to the next season.
Yeah, I agree. Whoever their quarterback really is, he'll have some good receivers, and so they'll be fine no matter who it is. At number 6, we have Texas A&M. A lot of people, they finished the season number 4 ahead of Notre Dame, but now a lot of people are putting them a little bit lower in their rankings for next year, just because they're losing the whole 4 out of the 5 offensive line starters and their quarterback, senior quarterback Kellen Mond. But Kellen Mond was never amazing, and whoever the new quarterback is will be just as good. Next year Texas A&M is going to be young, but I think they'll be just as good. And Alabama's losing talent, so we have Texas A&M at number 6. If they can beat Alabama, they can win the SEC West.
That's something that A&M should that's something that A&M could build on and eventually compete with Alabama and the rest of SEC powerhouses, which they have already been doing so these past couple of years.
For sure.
Yeah, at number 7 we have Iowa State. Iowa State did pretty well this year, and Brock Purdy is returning for another year, and they still have Breece Hall, who was a Heisman candidate, so they should be perfectly fine in my opinion. They should be perfectly fine in my opinion and be a top 10 team next year.
I agree. And at number who do we have at number 8? I don't have anything there.
Wait, I'll check it. Hold on a second.
I think it might be Notre Dame. Is it?
Let me check.
Right. So.
Oh yeah, right. So go ahead. Yeah, Notre Dame.
So at number 8 we have Notre Dame. They're gonna most likely lose Ian Book, but I don't think he's fully declared yet. But I think Notre Dame will be really good even with losing him, because their running back Kyron Williams was good this year, and they had a good young tight end. I can't remember his name. And Brian Kelly's been a good coach, and I think even if whether they're independent or stay in the ACC, they'll be good either way. So yeah, we have Notre Dame at number 8.
Yeah. At number 9, we have North Carolina, who has been pretty good with Sam Howell and could have actually, and if they didn't have losses in this year, if they didn't drop those games versus Florida State and Virginia this past season, they could have competed for the ACC title, which would have been which is a rise for the program, especially due to their amazing quarterback Sam Howell, who is one of the favorites to win the Heisman, and I think he can win the Heisman if he leads UNC to the top, which is exactly what I expect him to do.
Yeah, I think he'll be a Heisman candidate. At number 10, we have Cincinnati. Desmond Ridder, their quarterback, who was the American Conference Offensive MVP this year, is returning. He was really good, and their only loss was to Georgia, who ended the season at number 6 or 7 or something by a few points. So even though they're not a Power 5 team, they're still really good, and they have games next year against Notre Dame and Indiana. Maybe if they can win one out of those two, they should both be good teams. But maybe if they can win one out of those two, they can prove themselves and maybe win out and get to the playoffs. I think Cincinnati will be good.
Same. I think that they should be pretty good, in my opinion. And at number 11, we have Indiana football, which did pretty good this year, and they're a pretty underrated team. They got, in my opinion, they got disrespected when they played in the Outback Bowl when they were selected to play there. Even if they eventually lost, that was a disrespect to Indiana football, and I think they should be well next year. Michael Penix is an amazing quarterback. He is staying in Indiana for another year, and as long as he doesn't get hurt, I think he should lead Indiana to the next step, or to the next big step for Indiana football next season.
I agree. At number 12, we have USC. Personally, I think they're going to win the Pac-12. Kadon Slovis has been really good in his first 2 years, and I just think they're going to be the top team in the Pac-12 next year. Maybe Brew McCoy, their receiver, can help Kadon Slovis, and it's going to be hard to stop that, in my opinion. I've got USC at we have USC at number 12.
At number 13, we have the Oregon Ducks, which had a down year this season, which included a loss to Iowa State in the let's say in the Fiesta Bowl, and they lost to Cal and some other teams that they shouldn't have lost to. However, they should be back. However, the thing that concerns me the most is the quarterback, because Tyler Shaw is not playing that well. But if they can resolve that, and if Travis I does well for their at running back, they should be coming. They should be coming back to the AP poll, and in a good way.
Yeah, at number 14, we have Iowa. They lost their first 2 games this year, but after that, they won almost every other game. I think they either went undefeated or only lost 1 game after that. But I think they have some talent returning, and their recruiting is always like top 5. And their coach just every year keeps them good, even if they lose talent, like they have been in the draft. So we've got Iowa as one of the top teams in the Big Ten next year, at number 14 in the rankings.
At number 15, I have Wisconsin, even if they had a down year and were eventually overtaken by Northwestern for the Big Ten title, and Iowa even finished higher than them in the standings. However, I do think Wisconsin will bounce back. They have consistently been a top program in the Big Ten every single year. And I think next year will be no exception with the talent they've got, and I think they can make a run for the Big Ten.
I agree. At number 16, we have Texas. I think Steve Sarkisian was a good hire. They have some good players on their team, like their running back Bijan Robinson, who was really good in his freshman year. Steve Sarkisian, he's a good offensive mind that should be good at Texas, but it takes a few years to build a program. I think they finished 3 in the Big 12 this year, and they have some talent, even though they've been projected to be like 10, like the last 2 years. And for those predictions, they're still a top 25 team. And with this new coach, we're going to put them at number 16.
At number 17, even though they lost a lot, they should probably be still a contender. So we have Florida Gators at number 17. Even if they lose Kyle Trask, they lose Kyle Pitts, they lose some O-linemen and receivers, they lose they're going to lose some talent. I think they should be able to. I think they should be able to be. They should be able to be compete in the SEC East, even if they are losing what made them great this year for the season. I think they should still be able to compete despite all of that, especially in the weaker than normal SEC East.
Yeah, I agree. At number 18, we have Miami. Derek King is one of both of our Heisman contenders for next year. He was really good this year, but the question is, in the bowl game, he tore his ACL, I believe it was. So the question is if he'll play the beginning of next year. But he probably will. He just has to recover well. But he's kind of like the center of their offense. He can run the ball and pass the ball. And with Clemson and North Carolina both losing some talent, Miami could be a contender in the ACC.
Yeah, Miami is a special team for this year, and they also get Alabama this coming year, so that will be an interesting game. At number 19, I have Missouri in the SEC East. That is what, as I just mentioned, weaker than normal. They found a way to get ranked, even if it was at 25 this year. So I think this should be good.
Their quarterback's returning. So
yeah. Also,
he was only a freshman.
Yeah, their quarterback who did amazing is also returning, and they should be doing. They should do pretty well in the SEC to eventually compete with the big teams. like Georgia and Alabama there in the near future.
Yeah, for sure. They got ranked in their first year in the SEC East with their new coach, so they're going to be pretty good, I think. At number 20, we have Penn State. We all know James Franklin's a good coach, and this year was kind of a disappointment. But I think he can make the program bounce back. They're in the top 15 in recruiting, and they've got some good players. And with Ohio State losing some talent, they should be able to compete and win a good amount of games.
At number 21, we have Ole Miss, who their quarterback did amazing this year, even if like most of his interceptions came in a total of 2 games where he combined for 8 interceptions in those games. And the rest of the games he only threw 3, but he did amazingly well, especially versus in the game versus Alabama and other opponents. Their quarterback did amazing, and I expect him to carry this team, to carry Ole Miss back to glory and essentially give them the rank. So for now, I can't put them higher than 21, but let's say give Ole Miss a couple of seasons and they could be elite again.
22, we have Arizona State. They only played 4 or 5 games this year because of so many cancellations. But the last time we saw them play a full season, they won a bowl game. And who's their coach? I can't remember his name.
Herm Edwards.
Yeah, he's program good, and their quarterback, is his name Jaden Daniels, right?
Yeah, Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels been a really good quarterback. Some people even have him as a top 10 Heisman person next year. So, yeah, I think Arizona State will be good, and maybe they can challenge USC or UCLA in the Pac-12 South.
Yeah, I think so as well. ASU should be good next year. They have all that they need for
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hold on a sec. Just let me look for who we have at 23.
Oklahoma State.
Oh, Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State should be pretty good. That they actually were leading at some time. They're actually leading at some time the Big 12. They eventually choked it and allowed Oklahoma to win the conference. However, Oklahoma State did well, and I think they should be continuing to improve. If I remember correctly, their quarterback is coming back, I think. And even though they're going to likely lose Chuba Hubbard, they are still a good team with potential for the Big 12.
For sure. At number 24, we have Coastal Carolina. Their roots at Tennessee might be trying to get Jamie Chadwell, their coach, who got Coach of the Year this year. Like, maybe he'd be a good fit at Tennessee's program. But no matter who it is, I think Coastal Carolina is going to stay good next year. Their quarterback, Grayson McCall, was good. And it was only his freshman year, and he was one of the top quarterbacks. And their running game was really good this year, and they were just a good team from really nothing. So I think they'll be a top team next year and most likely win the Sun Belt.
Yeah, and I heard that. And at number 25, for the last team that we have in the rankings, we have TCU, which is kind of a surprise, especially since they did up lower than average this year. However, they did, let's say, they did upset Oklahoma, and they did beat, let's say, Texas and Baylor. So I think TCU could be good, and they also get a transfer. They also get a transfer from Oklahoma for quarterback. Chandler Morris, I think, was his name. And I think he will be good, and I think it will be good for TCU, and especially since Max Duggan was more of a running back, and that they had to put a quarterback for zero apparent reason.
Exactly. So now we're gonna get into this. Those are the top 25. Now we're gonna get into the sleepers. Some teams that we think can do good. For one of the sleepers, we have LSU. So everybody knows that they were so good 2 years ago, and last year they lost so much talent and finished at, I think it was 5-5. But they weren't horrible the whole time. I mean, they were playing with a team full of mostly freshmen and sophomore, and they still ended up going 5-5 in the SEC. So that's not bad. And with their recruiting being like number 5 and being insane every year, they should be pretty good next year with like their whole team basically returning.
Yeah, that is a really good observation, and I think LSU could be able to compete next year. Actually, having them at like a pretty decent record, I have them either 10-2 or 9-3 next year, and they should be a pretty good team. Then I'm gonna say Colorado. They almost won the Pac-12 South and got screwed by the Pac-12 management since they weren't able to play USC. Who had to cancel the game due to COVID earlier, and then they weren't able to play a game on championship weekend for like the crossover divisions because Oregon was going to play in the title game since Washington had COVID. That they really screwed Colorado over, and they were one of the they were amazing team last year. They finished 5-1, if I'm correct. At 5-1, they did pretty good. Their quarterback was pretty good. I don't remember his name, but their quarterback's pretty good. Their run game was also pretty good, and I think Colorado.
Jalen Broussard, their running back.
Yeah, Jalen Broussard was an amazing running back, and I think he should be able to compete. Colorado should be able to compete in next season.
Yeah, for sure. Another sleeper we have is Northwestern. Even though they're losing their quarterback Peyton Ramsey to the draft, their defense is one of the top defenses this year. It was just so hard to score on, and with the coach they have, I can't remember his name, but he turned a nothing program to a Big Ten contender, and we think Northwestern will be good because of their defense and their coaching staff can get their offense good again.
For the next one, I'm trying to be as least as biased as possible. So I'm gonna nominate UCLA Bruins as a sleeper team. They did improve a little bit this year under for the third year under Chip Kelly, and even like they were better than their record shows since they had a lot of games that they could have won that they ended up losing. Like most of the instances were either mistakes or the fact that the defense allowed a lot of points. However, Dorian Thompson-Robinson is returning, and he's been pretty good at quarterback. And with the schedule and with the semi decent schedule that UCLA has, I think they should be able to compete for maybe not the Pac-12 like this year, but in the near future, I think they should be fine.
Yeah, I agree. I think they'll be pretty good. One of the other sleepers we have is Utah. Obviously, their Baylor's quarterback Charlie Brewer is he's transferring over there, but they should be pretty good. I mean, they weren't that bad this year. They were one of the top teams in the Pac-12. Even with Zach Moss, their running back, leaving. So, yeah, they should be a contender in the Pac-12. And I think Charlie Brewer will be a really good quarterback for them and maybe helps them go to the Pac-12 championship or something like that.
Yeah, and I think that would be it, except, hold on a sec. No, we still have Auburn for sleeper. I think this should be okay, and even if Bo Nix is not that good of a quarterback, Auburn still look at times that they did well, and however that if Bo Nix can improve somehow, then I think Auburn should be fine. But even if they lost their head coach and even if they're with a new head coach, Brian Harsin, we're gonna see what he can do, but I think he should be fine.
I think they'll be better this year. I mean, Bo Nix hasn't always been the best passer, but he can run the ball, and their freshman running back, Tank Bigsby, was good in his first year. So, yeah, Auburn's a sleeper for next year. So those are all of our sleepers, and those are our top 25 rankings. Thanks for watching the video.
See you guys. Thanks for coming to the stream, and I'll be streaming likely tomorrow if I can. However, if not, I'll be seeing you for the next video. Thank you for watching.
Thanks for watching.